From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Anne Waodo.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, troops rescue over 300 victims from terrorist enclave in the Mandara Mountains of southern Benue State. Oyo State Police urge residents to report suspicious activities, announces arrest over kidnap of former minister's sister and her 2 sons. Kaduna State government trains 1,000 forest guards to combat insecurity in the country. And Israel strikes Beirut suburb in the first attack on the Lebanese capital after U.S. brokered truce. Begin with some good news, as troops of the Joint Task Force Operation Heading Kai have rescued 360 abductees from a terrorist enclave heading deep within the Mandara Mountains of southern Benue State. The military says this operation, carried out by Special Forces and Sector 1 troops, followed weeks of intelligence gathering, surveillance and covert reconnaissance that helped pinpoint the exact location of the hostages. According to the military authorities, troops launched a coordinated multi-axis assault that achieved complete tactical surprise, forcing several insurgents to flee while others surrendered. However, 2 infants reportedly died from exhaustion linked to difficult terrain and conditions endured during captivity. The military has described the rescue as a major operational success, saying that follow-up operations are ongoing to eliminate the remaining terrorist elements. And in Oyo State, the Commissioner of Police, Olubenga Abimbola, is calling on residents of the state to be vigilant and report suspicious movement to their communities. The police boss was speaking when he led officers and journalists to a crime scene where kidnappers used to hide for the abduction of the sister of former Power Minister Mrs. Olaide Adegoke John Paul and her twin boys. He also confirmed that the arrest of 4 suspects as well as the killing of 2 others during the operation was made. Now let's talk more on the rescue of some victims in Benue and Oyo State. That is part of successes recorded by security operatives in the last couple of weeks in the battle against terrorism and kidnappers. Well, our next report chronicles these achievements and how it will impact the war against terror in the country.
An amateur video shows a military truck conveying 360 victims, mostly women and children, to a camp after being liberated by troops of the Joint Task Force Operation Heading Kai from a terrorist enclave in the mountains of southern Benue. The military says the operation followed weeks of intelligence gathering, surveillance and covert reconnaissance, which helped pinpoint the hostages' location. The rescued victims were reportedly abducted from several communities around the Ngoshe axis and held under harsh conditions. Following the successful operation, Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum commended the Nigerian military, describing it as a major breakthrough in the fight against insurgency. In another video, men of the Nigeria police could be seen busting a kidnapper's den behind the abduction of Mrs. Olaide John Paul, younger sister to former Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu, along with her 2 sons, 3 days after they were taken. The Oyo State Commissioner for Police, Olubenga Abimbola, leads officers and journalists to Lakon Estate in Ibadan, where the victims were kept. According to the police, the raid turned into a fierce gun duel as officers closed in on the hideout, leading to the death of 2 of the abductors.
Following the successful clearance of the hideout, the kidnapped victims, Mrs. Adegoke Olaide Busayo, and her twin son, Peter and Paul, were rescued on hot and immediately placed in protective custody before being reunited with the family.
Meanwhile, it's been a huge relief for the Adelabu family as news of the rescue filtered in.
Busayo Olaide.
I'm the mother of Olaide, who gave birth to her twin sons, Peter and Paul. I'm delighted that they have been rescued, and I give thanks to God for showing mercy on me after I cried for days asking him for help. And now my daughter is reunited with her family along with her sons. I pray for God's intervention to resolve the issue of kidnappings so that all those still in captivity are rescued. In light of the two successful rescue operations, security analyst Kevin Fineface commends the security agencies for their efforts, although he's calling for more details about the operations.
We must commend them for that. And there have been a lot of some rescue operations, like we'll put it in quotation marks, but I think there's more that can be done if given the necessary empowerment and platforms that is needed. But as a risk assessment expert, one of the things that comes to mind is how did they get to rescue them? What are the number of lives that, in the course of that? Do we have collateral damage? Are there, arrests being done as a result of the rescue mission? And if that is, we need to know all of those details before we can truly commend them for their efforts. But anytime we only just need to just receive them because these people are back to their families. And we hope that will be done again.
Mr. Fineface also identifies key strategies needed to overcome Nigeria's wider security challenges.
We need to have proper profiling. We need to be able to have a family value system put in place. We need to be able to see that the salary structure of the security agencies are well at par with the politicians. They earn much more and do less. They don't protect us, but they earn more. Why? Then we need to also look at governance and ensure that people get involved in the political process of this country. Do not stay back and just say it's not your business. Either you vote or you don't vote. The decision of those in government will affect you. So you want to go out and vote and be sure those who are coming have the right social contract. If we do things, these 5 things, guess what will happen? That means that as a country, we're going to have 4+1 principle. There will be justice, there will be equality, there will be equity, there will be fairness, and there will be accountability. When you have this 4+1 principle put in place, a society becomes egalitarian for all to survive. You have minimal crime.
If these operations are anything to go by, Nigeria may be witnessing more breakthroughs in the days ahead, as the Nigerian Air Force confirms it has deployed aerial surveillance aircraft to support efforts to rescue teachers and pupils abducted in Orire local government area of Oyo State.
Meanwhile, the federal government has reassured Nigerians that it will not surrender to terrorists and bandits, even as it intensifies efforts to ease economic hardship and secure the release of all persons in captivity across the country. This assurance was conveyed by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, at the National Interdenominational Church Service held at the National Christian Center in Abuja as part of activities to mark the 2026 Democracy Day celebration. Senator Akume paid tribute to heroes of the June 12 struggle, noting that after 27 years of uninterrupted democratic governance, the Tinubu administration remains committed to delivering sustainable democratic dividends despite the current socio-economic challenges and security concerns. He also warns against political violence ahead of the 2027 general elections, asking Nigerians, especially youth, not to be used for thuggery, for decisive and divisive rhetoric, while calling for national unity, peaceful coexistence, and stronger democratic values. Staying with security, the Edo State Governor Monday Okpeholo has taken a swipe at the activities of criminal elements in the country, saying that the country will not bow to criminality. The governor made this declaration during a visit to Love World City, Christ Embassy in Benin City, the Edo State capital, where he also asked the congregation to pray against kidnapping, cultism, and other security threats facing Nigeria. Speaking to worshippers, Governor Okpeholo says that no individual or group should hold the country captive for personal or political gains, especially as elections draw closer.
this nation. Nigeria must survive. This country does not belong to kidnappers. It is not because you are looking for power that you want to prostrate this nation. But with the prayers of the children of God, it must stop. I believe in your prayers. I believe after today, there will be a testimony. At the same time, we'll pray for our president, for God's guidance, and for God's wisdom, and for the strength to carry this nation forward and manage the economy of this country. But when you pray for Nigeria, I believe Edo will be saved. Every other state in Nigeria must be saved through your prayers.
We head to Kogi State now, where the government says that the major security threat was averted after security operatives foiled a terrorist attack in a Koyi-Jumu local government area of the state. According to the statements by the State Commissioner for Information, soldiers, police officers, vigilantes and local hunters responded within minutes, engaging the attackers in a fierce gun battle that forced them to flee without carrying out any abduction. The statement, however, says that one resident was killed in the crossfire and another was injured, while intelligence reports indicate that some of the fleeing attackers sustained gunshot wounds. As part of efforts to combat the menace of banditry, kidnapping and other related crimes and improve security in Kaduna State, the government has commenced the training of 1,000 forest guards. The 6 weeks training, which commenced at the police college in Kaduna, is being coordinated by the Office of the National Security Advisor. It is also aimed at strengthening surveillance in forests and rural communities often targeted by criminal groups.
For many years, communities across Kaduna State, especially forested areas, have faced security challenges linked to banditry, kidnapping, and other related crimes. The state government, under the leadership of Governor Obasani, is however taking a major step to address the problem with the recruitment of 1,000 forest guards who commenced a 6-week training at the police college in Kaduna State. The Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs reads the Riot Act as it stressed the need for the trainees to remain professional.
You must be disciplined. You must listen to your instructors. You must be ready to learn. We have only 6 weeks for this program. By the time you come out, we will be sure that you are ready to go. Gentlemen, we have all that it takes for you to undergo this particular training. The only thing for you is for you to obey commands. If you are found wanting, you know what will follow.
The guards are expected to work alongside conventional security agencies and will be well armed in line with the rules of engagement outlined by the Office of the National Security Advisor. The initiative is expected to improve security in vulnerable communities across Kaduna State.
These officers will be deployed back to the flashpoint. You know, the flashpoint in Kaduna, we have 8 critical local government areas in Kaduna, which includes Birnin Gwari, Giwa, Kachia, Kagaruko, Kajuru, Chikun, as well as Igabi local government. These are the critical areas. And with deployment of this personnel, the issue of security in Kaduna State will drastically reduce.
As Kaduna State strengthens its security architecture by being the first state to recruit forest guards, residents are hopeful that the initiative will mark a turning point in the fight against banditry and other related crimes in the state.
And in part 2, after the break, Governor Hope Uzodinma and Usman Ododo rally support for the re-election bid of Governor Biodun Oyebanji of Ekiti State. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. Troops rescue over 300 victims from terrorist enclave in the Mandara Mountains in southern Benue State. Oyo police urge residents to report suspicious activities, announces arrest of a kidnap of former minister's sister and her 2 sons. Kaduna State government trains 1,000 forest guards to combat insecurity in the state. And Israel strikes Beirut suburb in the first attack on the Lebanese capital after a U.S. brokered truce. The governor of Imo State and chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, Hope Uzodimma, is calling on members of the Igbo community residents in Ekiti State to support the re-election bid of Governor Biodun Oyebanji in the June 20 governorship election. Governor Uzodimma made the call at the annual Cultural Day celebration of the Igbo community held at the Ekiti Parakbo Pavilion in Ado-Ekiti, the state capital. He describes Governor Oyebanji as a bridge builder and an inclusive leader who has fostered a peaceful and business-friendly environment for residents regardless of ethnic or religious affiliations. Our correspondent, Seitope Kuteyi, reports.
The Ekiti Parakbo Pavilion in Ado-Ekiti comes alive as members of the Igbo community from across the state's 16 local government areas gather for their annual cultural festival. Dressed in vibrant traditional attire, men, women, and youths celebrate their rich heritage with colorful displays, cultural pride, and a strong spirit of unity. The event received a major boost with the arrival of Governor Biodun Oyebanji of Ekiti State, accompanied by the Governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodimma, and his Kogi State counterpart, Ahmed Usman Ododo. In a symbolic display of honor and hospitality, a kola note is presented to Governor Uzodimma, underscoring the cultural significance of welcoming distinguished guests. Addressing the gathering, Governor Oyebanji commends the Igbo community for its enduring contributions to Ekiti's economy and social development.
I have enjoyed a very smooth working relationship with all of you. Our leader is also on stage, and it's not very easy to bring him out of all stages. But today, as a special hope for you, I did not take the honor of you for granted. This is the first time in my life that I am accepting some sort of message.
Governor Hope Uzodimma praises Governor Oyebanji's leadership, describing his administration as inclusive, security-focused, and growth-driven. He calls on the Igbo community and other residents to reciprocate the goodwill by giving the governor strong support in the June 20 governorship election.
We, the members of APC, have heard about the support they have been giving to the governor of Ekiti State and how the governor has been working with you people. Today, as you celebrate your Igbo Day, we have come to rub minds together. Therefore, come June 20th, which is election day in the states, vote for the governor.
Before departing the event, Governor Hope Uzodimma urges Nigerians to continue supporting APC-led governments at both state and federal levels.
A vote for power is a vote for APC, is a vote for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is a vote for the future development of Igbos in Ekiti State, for national unity, national integration, national cohesion.
As the Ekiti State governorship election approaches, the endorsements and assurances at the event highlight rising political momentum ahead of the June 20 polls. Seitope Kuteyi, Channels Television News.
In a strong show of political alignments in Ebonyi State, indigenes of Izi in Ebonyi and Abakaliki local government areas under the Oha Izi Nodo social, cultural, and political group have thrown their full weight behind Presidents Bola Tinubu and Governor Francis Nwifuru for a second term. The endorsement came during a solidarity rally at the Pangele Oruta Township Stadium in Abakaliki, where the group, seen as a major voice in Ebonyi North Senatorial District, declared their unwavering support for both leaders, citing confidence in their leadership and ongoing developments across the state.
The Oriji Nodo leadership has officially thrown their weight behind President Bola Tinubu and Governor Francis Nwifuru for a second term. Citing the surge in infrastructure, empowered human capital, and a newfound sense of peace across the state, this bloc is clear. They want continuity.
People, their leaders, their youth, their elders, their women, and of course everybody, and those who believe in Iji and lovers of Iji, have decided to designate the whole of today for you, to endorse you for your second tenure in office.
In a strong political move, the bloc intensified its support for President Bola Tinubu's re-election bid and went further to endorse the All Progressives Congress candidates ahead of the 2027 general elections.
To the House of Reps and the House of Assembly members, the General Informer said they should go.
The G clan has spoken with one voice, and I'm so happy because when the G has spoken, it's as good as the election has been concluded.
The gathering reached its peak with a unanimous motion and adoption endorsing Governor Francis Nwifuru for a second term.
We do hereby move as a clan, the Z clan, the most populous clan in Ebonyi State, that we hereby unanimously adopt our son, Right Honorable Prince Francis Ogbonna Nwifuru, as our sole candidate for governorship election come 2027 general election in Ebonyi State.
I rise to second the motion for the endorsement of His Excellency our Governor, Prince Judah Francis Ogbonna Nwifuru, as the sole candidate of APC come 2027 general election. Those who in support of this motion say aye.
Governor Nwifuru, represented by his deputy governor, says the endorsement signals greater responsibility for his administration.
He said, I should tell you people that the little he has done is just a tip of the iceberg. That come this second tenure, that he's going to take Ebonyi to that highest progressive level that Ebonyi State, if you don't have visa, you will not enter Ebonyi State, because Ebonyi State is going to be showcased to the whole world.
Following the endorsement, stakeholders reaffirmed their readiness to work closely with the state government and APC leadership. They pledged continued collaboration to advance public interests and sustain the ongoing wave of development across the state.
To infrastructure development now, the Minister of Works, Mr. David Umahi, has threatened to remove non-performing contractors from federal road projects across the country, saying that firms that fail to commit resources to project delivery are hindering national development. Mr. Umahi made this remark during an inspection tour of the ongoing reconstruction and expansion of the Mararaba Kefi and Zuba Kaduna roads, where he also warned Ministry of Works officials against failure to implement directives. Our correspondent, Benny Ark, reports.
The federal government's drive to improve road infrastructure continues as the Minister of Works, Mr. David Umahi, leads lawmakers, government officials and ministry staff on an inspection of key highway projects. The tour took the team to the ongoing reconstruction and expansion of the Maraba Kefi Road and the Zuba Kaduna Highway, two major transport corridors considered vital to economic activities and movement of goods and services. the inspection, the minister expressed concern over the slow pace of work by some contractors, warning that the government would no longer tolerate poor performance on federal projects.
We've seen a lot of places that are not done accordingly, and the people are having problems. There is hold up, there is delay, there is loss of manpower and time. This should not be. And so this will have to happen. From next week, we are going to read out whether you are indigenous contractor or you are expatriate. Some of them have even 25 jobs they got before we came on board. So once you are now ready to invest, now we wait for the federal government to conclude and they pay the debt. Then you are not a part and parcel of love and the progress of this country.
He also issued a stern warning to officials of the Ministry of Works who failed to execute directives and monitor projects effectively.
Nation building is the job of everybody. Nobody knows the amount of support the president has given to me. So if I have failed, they will still be blaming the president. That should work. So if I give directive to make this nation forward and the staff are not doing it, I will remove them. So I will remove them entirely from Ministry of Works.
The inspection ends with the minister directing contractors to adhere to approved construction standards, improve drainage and safety infrastructure, and fast-track projects delivery, while assuring that efforts are underway to secure funding for completion of all ongoing projects nationwide. Benue, Channels Television News.
In many parts of Plateau State, a silent group of women are taking on one of the most physically demanding forms of labor, and that's crushing stones by hand just to make ends meet. With little protection, unstable income, and limited support, these women are forced into a cycle where survival depends on strength, resilience, and sheer determination. Behind the dust and the daily grind are powerful stories of mothers, grandmothers, and even children navigating hardship in Nigeria's informal economy. Our correspondent, Percy Dabang, brings us the story of 65-year-old Laraba Williams, who spent more than 3 decades breaking stones just to provide for her family.
As dawn breaks in Plateau State, 65-year-old Laraba Williams begins her day. Not to an office, but to a quarry, where every step leads to survival. For over 30 years, this journey has been her reality, where every strike of a hammer is a fight to live.
There are days that we will get something, others we don't get anything. We solve our needs and buy food. Our children went to school from this business.
The work is tough, the risks are real, but for Laraba, stopping is not an option.
Sometimes the stone will hit us and we will have injuries. Sometimes the nail will peel off, but we will continue until it gets healed.
This struggle is not hers alone. Her grandson, Ezra Joshua, now works beside her, learning survival the only way he knows how.
It still helped me so many ways. I pay my problem with this work. Everything, I solve my problem with it. I help my parents with it.
Each bag of crushed stone sells for just 1,000 naira. On a good day, they can produce and sell up to 30 bags. On other days, nothing comes in. For others like Lami Monday, the same work tells different story. A mother of 5, she has spent years here, turning stones into opportunities.
I have seen the blessings of God from this work. I was able to enroll my children in primary school. Some have graduated from secondary school. I feed them from this work. I was able to buy a plot and build a house for me.
Their survival also depends on buyers like Engineer Bulus Sarki.
doing it because we see how they suffer break, because in the quarry it's machine that does it for them. But now you can see how they normally break it. It takes time for you to get a very large quantity from them. So we're trying to support what they are doing.
But beneath the surface lies a deeper cost. Years of exposure to dust, injuries, and strain without protection or support.
This informal quarry in Plateau State mirrors the struggle of many women who have turned hardship into survival. For over 3 decades, Laraba has broken stones to support her family despite the risks and uncertainty. Every bag sold here is a lifeline, and every strike of the hammer tells a story of resilience where survival is not given but earned.
Fatima Suleiman, a civil society member, decried the hard labor the women have to endure, but remains positive that they can be supported.
We're in the 21st century. Women should not be going through so much strenuous labor. Once they are registered with cooperatives, they can be linked to the Institute of Geomining so that they know the laws guiding issues of stones, breaking, modification, and even to the consumer, how to even sell the stone.
As the sun sets over Plateau State, the work slows but never truly stops. For Laraba Williams and countless others, survival is not about comfort, but about resilience, enduring each day on the unforgiving road of life. Percy Gabang, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, federal government intensified preparedness measures against possible outbreak of Ebola in the country. Please join us again. And to other stories as concern mount over the resurgence of the Ebola virus disease in parts of East Africa, Nigerian health authorities are stepping up surveillance and preparedness measures just to prevent the possible outbreak within the country. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, says the risk of importing the Bundiogo strain of the Ebola virus remains high due to ongoing regional transmission, international travel, population movement, and porous borders. And Governor Hyacinth Ali of Benue State has finalized plans to host President Bola Tinubu for the commissioning of the Benue fruit concentrate and Ben fruit factories, among many other capital projects in the state. Governor Alia disclosed this during an inspection of the fruit concentrate and Ben fruit factories, as well as the Benue Investment Property Company's motorcycle assembly plants at the Makadi industrial layout. The visit forms part of ongoing efforts to curb post-harvest losses of Benue's agricultural produce.
The Benue Fruit Concentrate Factory in Makodi, Benue State, appears ready for commissioning, with installation and exterior design work all completed. Hyacinth Alia arrives for the inspection to ascertain the readiness of the concentrate factory. He tours the factory from the intake point through the rollers and washers, all the way to the processing machines, accompanied by his deputy, Mr. Samodi, noting that all is now set to invite President Bola Tinubu into Benue State. He also called on neighboring states with high post-harvest losses to take advantage of this facility, just as big fruit juice companies are already showing interest.
It's going to be a big plus also. Again, not just the farmers here within the state alone. We have a number of farmers whose post-harvest losses are never recovered at all. Yes. So it's going to enable them to know that there is a good market direction here, and commercially they would also gain.
The Group Managing Director of BIPC, who is leading the state's industrialization program, says all is now set for the commissioning.
His Excellency have visited the concentrate factory, and this is the juice factory. So those are deliberate attempts to ensure that we have value proposition for our mango, for our orange, for our citrus, for our tomatoes, for our pepper, and name them.
Governor Alia also inspected the Benue fruit factory, also at the industrial layouts, along with the BIPC motorcycle assembly plants. He mounts one of the motorcycles in a symbolic gesture to demonstrate the quality of the brand, just as the group managing director notes that over 5,862 farmers captured in the state will benefit from the distribution to help in assessing their farms.
The motorcycle is being produced by BIPC within what they call the assembling plants. And what we want to do is we want also the farmers, the people that in the rural area, they can be able to go to the farm, pick up these oranges, pick up this mango, harvest the tomatoes and others so that we can offtake it. We have a total number of data, about 5,862 on our data. Those are real farmers. So because we want to mitigate the risk of those people that they call themselves the middlemen, we want these farm owners to benefit from this process.
The Alia administration, since assuming office in May of 2023, has been working to transform the state from a dependent economy to a production economy, taking advantage of its agricultural potential through agro-allied processing.
And in a bid to create safer and more inclusive learning spaces, Adamawa State Government has commenced the training of service providers on environmental and social compliance ahead of a massive school renovation drive. The Adamawa State Ministry of Education and Human Capital Development, in collaboration with the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Employment, is also organizing a one-day environmental and social engagement orientation training for technical service providers in order to boost girl-child education.
This one-day training for environmental and social compliance for technical service providers, organized by the Adamawa State Ministry of Education and Human Capital Development in collaboration with Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment Agile under the National Project Coordinating Unit (NPCU), attracted critical stakeholders.
There are HSC plans, waste management plans, so many plans, traffic management plans.
Over 40 service providers who will oversee the renovation of more than 267 secondary schools under Component 1.2 of the School Improvement Plans grant are here for the training.
In Adamawa State, we have 1,070 schools that we intend to intervene on the Agile project. But because of the volume and number of schools, we were advised by the World Bank that we should implement in batches. So, for batch A, we have identified 268 schools comprising of 113 medium grant and 155 small grants. And it's going to be supported by 40 technical service providers. See it as an opportunity to contribute towards the improvement of education in the state. So if you've come here with a mindset that you are going to make money, well, I'm going to disappoint you. Because the rates that we've used or the state has used in the preparation of these BOQs are direct labor rates.
The Adamawa State Coordinator of Agile reiterates that the renovation is not about infrastructure, but creating safe environments, just as the essence of the project is highlighted.
The project now say before they embark on the renovation, there is need for us as project to give them training on environmental and social management aspect of the project, of the Agile project. And that is why we are here today.
The message I have for the participants is for them to put into practice what they have been taught. They should work closely with the SPMC. Secondly, they should take ownership of the Agile project.
The Agile program, supported by the World Bank, focuses on expanding access to quality education and employment opportunities for young women, while strengthening institutional capacity across Nigeria's education sector.
And in Yobe State, environmental experts have expressed concern over the impact of climate change and growing desertification threatening the ecosystem. They made this known at the commemoration of World Environment Day organized by the Nigerian Environmental Society in Damaturu, where they also called on governments, communities and other stakeholders to take greater responsibility for environmental protection.
Global
Global reports show that billions of tons of fertile soil are lost annually to land degradation, while desertification and drought continue to threaten livelihoods across many regions. To address these challenges, the Nigerian Environmental Society, Yobe State Chapter, used this year's World Environmental Day celebration to create awareness among students and the general public on the effect of climate change and rapid urbanization.
This day reminds us that the environment is not separated from our lives. It is our farmland and our water, also our future. Let us all take all steps, please, for all organizations, line MDAs, projects to plant trees, save water, or simply say no to waste.
Some of the experts identified uncontrolled urbanization as a major factor contributing to environmental degradation and the loss of vegetation. They urge government and citizens to promote tree planting and discourage indiscriminate felling of trees without replacement.
Urbanization is a driver of climate change. As population grows, people need more settlements, people need more institutions, more infrastructure, more facilities, and in the course of doing that, a lot of vegetation are being denuded. When you cut down trees massively without commensurate replacement, it can now give us a negative feedback in terms of raising temperature, water scarcity, and all other related environmental factors.
We are one of the states that will be celebrating this occasion in order to remind the government and the general public about how this encroachment and other issues in our environment. As legislators, we are 100% supporting the Yobe State government, our partners, and all other non-governmental organizations so that we can put our head together, come together to ensure that we protected this environment.
The event also provided an opportunity to sensitize traditional and religious leaders on their role in promoting environmental protection and sustainable practices.
The Taraba state government has reassured business owners of its commitment to implementing reforms that will foster a more enabling environment for enterprise and investment. This commitment was presented during the town hall meeting convened by the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, the Taraba state government, and private business owners.
This nationwide town hall meeting and stakeholders engagement tour by the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council is a transformative initiative co-designed with the World Bank, Nigeria Governors Forum, and other partners to support and intensify state-level business reforms, policies, and ensure that they meet the specific needs of each state. The Director General of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council joins virtually and gives an overview of the engagement.
At the heart of President's vision is a simple but powerful reality. Nigeria can only prosper when all tiers of government move in the same direction. Economic transformation cannot be achieved through isolated effort. It requires a synchronized national strategy in which the federal government, the state and states work together to create a seamless investment landscape.
Governor Abu Kefas, represented at the event, says the meeting is an opportunity to assess the business enabling reforms of Taraba State in improving transparency, investor experience, and regulatory impact analysis through a digitized one-stop shop.
As we gather here today, let us renew our resolve to deepen our reforms, strengthen our institutions, and build a future defined not by challenges, but by opportunities we create together.
The town hall meeting then went into a panel discussion where participants spoke on tax reforms, challenges and opportunities daring on the ease of doing business in Taraba.
We know that businesses
frequently raise concerns about multiple taxation and levies. In fact, when we visited Adamawa State, we discovered that there was the government had to give clarification regarding taxes and levies, because for the businesses they just believed that once fees are collected, it's always tax. Some are levies, but some are taxes.
We agree that we have already an organized central billing on ground where you can from end to end commence processes on our platform, from the tax ID to the electronic transmission of your tax clearance. This we have done successfully.
The state government is assuring business owners of sustainability and transition in government reforms, continuous confrontation of challenges, hindering ease of doing business to ensure robust business development and provide economic opportunities.
And now to the arts. Next of Kin is an annual competition for young artists organized by the Thought Pyramid Art Center right here in Lagos. Now, this event always climaxes with its exhibition. We see the works displayed by these visual artists on Art Review tonight.
In the move to shape the future of contemporary African art, the Thought Pyramid Art Center in Lagos is hosting a landmark project dedicated to nurturing young homegrown talents. The initiative features a diverse array of artists across various genres, drawn from both local and international pools.
We have over 120-something entries in this exhibition, but we only have 20 finalists exhibiting. We have one sculptural guy, we have about 17 painters, and then 2 digital artists.
Following a rigorous selection process that began 2 months ago, 20 outstanding artists have emerged to showcase their exceptional creativity from a massive field of contestants.
The most important thing is originality. That is what the jury look for. What is the foundation of this particular artist? Where is it coming from? Where is it going to? Looking at the theory works, can you identify this theory work with a particular artist? So we look for originality. Why is that so? Because if an artist loses his identity, he has nothing to present anymore. So we look for originality.
This year's 8th edition, themed Fragments of Being, explores how memory, culture, and time shape the human identity. Judges are specifically looking for how these visual artists interpret these shifts through deep research and creative expression.
All the artworks are connected to the theme, Fragment of Being. Basically, the theme is talking about, how can our visual artists use their talent, creativity to explore the evolving nature of human experience. If we look at our current environment, people are changing. Maybe because of the economy, maybe because of so many things happening around, many people have changed. And it is only good for visual arts to reflect, to be a mirror of the society. So when you go around, you're going to see a lot of work that talks about human experiences, how people are changing, and, different stories about daily life of people in this current age and time that we are in Nigeria.
With its expanding international reach, this annual competition and exhibition continues to solidify its status as a vital platform for the future of contemporary African art.
And back home, match day 2 of the Nigeria Women Football League Premiership Super 6, scheduled for Monday, June the 8th, will feature 3 high-stakes matches at the Adokia Mesiamaka Stadium in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Abia Angels, who picked a surprise 1-1 draw against defending champions Bayelsa Queens in their Super 6 debut, will now face Rivers United, Rivers Angels, who picked a crucial opening victory against FC Robo Queens 3-2. Former league champions Nasarawa Amazons and Bayelsa Queens will be going for their first win in the second game of the day. The final game for tomorrow at 3 p.m. will be between FC Robo Queens and Edo Queens. And both teams failed to secure points on the opening day. The Super 6 determines the league champion and select teams for the continental competitions. And that's sports. But outside our shores, Nigerians prepared to be evacuated from South Africa following the anti-immigration protest could be airlifted as early as Thursday this week. That's according to the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ebienfa Imomotimi. In an interview with our Foreign Affairs correspondent, Amarachi Ubani, he says that over 1,000 Nigerians are being screened by the Nigerian High Commission and Consulate General in Pretoria and in Johannesburg before being allowed to board the 5 flights prepared by the Nigerian federal government. He also says the plans are in place to ensure their easy transition to life in Nigeria.
For evacuation, if it is a war situation, the normal standing practice is that there will be officials from Nigeria that will meet up of the Refugee Commission, Nigerian Immigration Service, Nigerian Security, that will even move to the departure point to be involved in the screening process. The idea is to avoid a situation whereby you don't bring people that are not even Nigerians to your country, because we witnessed that in other instances where before, when there is evacuation flight, every black African will claim to be a Nigerian. So we've had those instances before. So to avoid that, there will be thorough screening. But now our mission is doing the screening with relevant South African authorities, in the sense that the South African equivalent of the Foreign Affairs, which is called the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, in conjunction with the South African Police, South African Immigration Service. Those are the groups that or the government agencies that are working hand in hand with our mission to do the screening. Now, when they arrived in Lagos, there is a camp operated by the Nigerian Refugee Commission. So definitely they will be there. They will be debriefed there. And I think there are plans on the way to make sure they have even starter packs and little tokens that will enable them move from Lagos to their respective states, as the case may be.
Israeli Defense Forces have hit southern Beirut, and that's their first attack on the Lebanese capital since a truce was brokered by the U.S. last week. At least 2 people were killed after 2 air strikes hit 2 apartment buildings in the Hezbollah stronghold. 17 more people were injured in that incident. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says that Israel struck terrorist headquarters in the Dahir district in Beirut in response to Hezbollah's firing of Israeli territory. Hezbollah is yet to comment on this. Israel had limited its own Beirut attacks under U.S. pressure, and Washington is very concerned that strikes there could jeopardize efforts to reach a wider peace deal with Iran, which insists on a complete and total ceasefire in Lebanon. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has accused Russia of a deliberate and vile attack after Kiev officials said a drone had struck a storage facility for spent nuclear fuel near the Chernobyl nuclear plant in the north of Ukraine. And they say a fire was put out and there were no injuries, with radiation levels remaining at stable conditions. And this is coming as President Zelensky arrives in the United Kingdom ahead of talks with the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, French President Emmanuel Macron, and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz. But separate authorities are saying that at least 3 people were killed in a Russian strike in the village outside in the southern eastern part of the country. And the main news again. Troops have rescued over 300 victims from terrorist enclave in the Mandara Mountains and the southern region of Benue State. Oyo Police Command is urging residents to report suspicious activities. The command also announced the arrest of some suspects in connection with the kidnap of former Minister of Power's sister and her 2 sons. And Kaduna State government has trained 1,000 forest guards to combat security in the state. That's news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Mwawadu. Good night and have a wonderful week ahead.